Education Eswatini with Learners for Life.
Good evening. His Excellency, the Right Honourable Prime Minister, Cleopas Dlamini, has returned to the Kingdom from Angola and Kenya. Singapore-based company Lush Hair will begin operations in the Kingdom in October. A dispute between conflicting families in Kwaluseni continues to this day. The Right Honourable Prime Minister, His Excellency Cleopas Dlamini, has returned to the Kingdom after attending the inaugurations of Angolan President João Lourenço and Kenyan President William Ruto. We have a report.
Cleopas Dlamini obuyi-11 lakangwane ngemuva kwekuthunywa silo ingwenyama inkosi Yemaswati wesithathu ekubhekweni kwabomengameli lababili. Ndunakhulu uqale eveni laseKenya edolobheni laseNairobi lapho bekuyawuphakanyiswa mengameli William Ruto lothanza kuwina lunake ukhetho. Ndunakhulu uvetile ukuthi umsebenzi wahamba kahle kakhulu njengoba cishe bonke baholi besifundza sasendasini Africa iSADC bebaphelele.
Ekuhambeni kwethu kwesiqale eveni laseKenya edolobheni laseNairobi lapha khona bekuyophakanyiswa mongameli William Ruto mengameli ke usanza kuwina ukhetho ngoba sathi bekuphuma tindzabeni ukuthi lo mengameli lo wine ukhetho kepha akusiyo umuntu omusha kude politiki ngoba abevela khona ethemini lephelile ka vice president kusho ukuthi beka deputy president wa mengameli Uhuru Kenyatta iminyaka lelishumi so uqaleke naye ithemu yakhe yokuqala lapha ke sekenyukele esitulweni sekuba umengameli emva komsebenzi sihambe siyofusela kumengameli omusha simbingelele sethule umlayeto wenyama lokumhalalisela phela ukuthi wenyama yambongela ekuhambeni kahle ngakulo msebenzi wajabula le naye waRuto washo ukuthi simbongele ingwenyama kusize ikhiphe le delegation.
Ndunakhulu nebandla lakhe babeseke sebabhekisa emabombo eAngola edolobheni laseRwanda lapho nakhona ebekuyawubekwa mengameli João Emmanuel Lourenço lwebekabuyela ngesihlalweni sekuba ngumengameli.
Saseke nasesicedzile lapho sesesuka ke sibangisa le eAngola eveni lakho edolobheni laseRwanda. Nakhona kwakumsebenzi lofana nabo nalo bese kuyo eKenya nakhona sicela ingwenyama ukuthi siyoyimelela lapho nakhona bekubekwa khona mengameli mengameli ke wakhona le Angola Mjawo Manueli Lorenzo.
Ndvunankhulu bekasingathwe indvuna yaka Public Service etindzabeni Yemaswati Channel kubeka nohlahlathwala ngena nontobeko Thabetsi.
The Minister of Labour, Honourable Phila Buthelezi, has today appointed a new board for the ESWATINI National Provident Fund. We have a report. Social Security, Honourable Phila Buthelezi, has today announced new board members for the ESWATINI National Provident Fund. Speaking at this launch, Minister Buthelezi expressed he and government's faith that this board will be effective in fulfilling the fund's mandate of ensuring that Yemaswati who put their money into the fund will receive their just dues upon reaching retirement. Chief Executive Officer of ENPF.
Siyethemba nje ukuthi ngale khona iboard lebusiswako lamuhla itawujinga ifake amandla. We expect ukuthi itawuthi exit the 7 billion mark will have been exceeded. Ngekukhula kwaso sikhwama nasibuka ama-assets sibuka nemalunga lesibheka ukuthi akhule abe manene kwazisa sona sikhwama. Iboard nahlala sitayibusisa namhlanje ngoba sihlanganele kona kuyibusisa inomsebenzi omkhulu lobhekana nayo lobhekana nelitiko lobhekana nahulumende wonke umsebenzi wokuconverta le ESWATINI National Provident Fund into a national pension scheme njengoba sekabekile CEO umvana Nkosi.
His Royal Highness Prince Lonkokela also expressed his excitement at having this board, as the ENPF had not had a board in the past 4 months.
Senior management kubo kwekuthi sifikele silangalele lengabikela bona nje minister ukuthi i-provident fund solo sesigabeni sekuthi iyasebenza usasebenzeka kuhle kude lokubili singakubika ukuthi sifikele lokuthi nani konke kuseshobile minister tibalo noma ubuka tibalo sakhulumeka usethe lokukhambisa ukuthi kungahle konakala provident fund.
Board Chairman Mduduzi Kina stated that he, as well as his board members, were ready for the task ahead and would dedicate themselves tirelessly to ensure that ENPF works at its optimum. For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Tina Madonsela with Gary Carlos Ezulwini. Following His Majesty King Mswati III's visit to Singapore in June 2022, the Minister of Commerce has announced that Singapore-based company Lush Hair will begin operations in the kingdom in October. We have a report.
Visit to Singapore earlier in the year, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Manqaba Khumalo, has announced a new foreign investor, Singaporean group, Lush Hair Group, will begin operations in the kingdom in October. Lush Hair is one of the companies that showed interest in setting up shop in Eswatini during an Eswatini Singapore business seminar led by His Majesty King Mswati III in June 2022.
Sithenza ke nekusho bekunene lokuthi le business yetinule business lenkulu eAfrica ukhanza ukuthi business le bita seyonke nje the entire sector imali yenza ku 272 million US dollars neminyaka.
The Hair Extensions manufacturing company, which already has footprints in Africa, in Nigeria and Kenya, is launching in SADC as Be Beautiful and will implement its 262 million emalangeni investment in phases over a period of 5 years, starting with an initial investment of 67.2 million emalangeni. It is expected to create 475 jobs in its first phase and 3,000 at full scale. In closing, the Minister of Commerce stated that the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade will continue to embark on ambitious investment drives to ensure that this becomes an era of investment, growth, job creation, and meaningful economic transformation for the kingdom. For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Kina Madonsela with Gary Carlos and Linda Shongwe.
The ESWATINI chapter of the Lutheran Church of Southern Africa has invited Yemaswati to attend the consecration of the new leader of the Eastern Diocese in Kwaluseni tomorrow. We have a report. The Lutheran faith in Southern Africa have today asked all Yemaswati who are willing to attend the consecration of the new bishop of the Eastern Diocese, Zwanini Shabalala, which will be taking place tomorrow in Matsapa at the University of Eswatini.
Siyabema-ke mhlambe njengoba siyasasho ukuthi ibandla liphelele nabo bonke nje bazalwane labasekela kakhulu abantu bakhanseli nalabanye esidlala nabo ukuthi kusasa sengolo umkhosi ukuthi siyobeka umbishop wethu babe Shabalala Zwanini Africa Shabalala lo lamamine-ke yena ungubishop wesithupha utawa umbishop wesithupha nombishop wesihlanu ebandleni laseluthele nalokuthi-ke njengoba sisho ukuthi uma kudala umsebenzi simema umuntu omzala lo tokhona ukwenza lo msebenzi umuntu omzala-ke simpita ka-presiding bishop nguye presiding bishop lona bishop Miyaka bekuyena atokhona ukuthi abeke kahle umbishop wethu.
Njengoba sesimemile bishop uMmise ubishop western diocese nami ngiyanimema nonke ukuba nibe kule nkonzo yokugcotshwa umbishop uShabalala. Kubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi ibandla libe nayo umholi ngoba siyazi ukuthi uJesu uthumile abanye bababe ngabelusi ibandla libe nomelusi ikakhulu ngalezi zikhathi ezineyinselelo nobunzima kuyadinga ukuthi ube nomalusi ozohola ibandla aliqondise.
Kungumsebenzi lo mkhulu lwethu sanako na ucabanga kepha nje ke ngokuthi nangabe sathi sikholwa futhi ukuthi uNkulunkulu lo siniketa imisebenzi siphinde sethembe ukuthi utawusihola kuwo lo msebenzi. So kungaba nje ukukhuthata libandla babukela umsakato kakhulu ke Maswati onke lokubumcwa nje bekukhulekela lo msebenzi nekukhulekela libandla lonke kuqhutshekwa kusentshetho kuyiwa phambili.
For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Kina Madonsela with Gary Carlos Mbabane. Trina Hlahla and Tabiso Nzuza have been named the Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer of the Eswatini Environment Authority, respectively. We have a report. In a press briefing at the EA offices in Mbabane, it was announced today that Trina Hlahla will be the new Eswatini Environment Authority's new Executive Director, whilst Tabiso Mzuza will be the EA's new Chief Financial Officer. These appointments were announced by the Chairman of the EA Board.
Besides, the candidate is well equipped with an MSc degree in Environmental Impact Assessment, Auditing and Management Systems from the University of East Anglia, as well as an MBA in Organizational Leadership from the University of Zambia. This candidate is none other than Mr. Isaac Trina Hlahla, and may you please join me as we congratulate Mr. Hlahla on his appointment as the Executive Director for Eswatini Environment Authority.
The work of being an environmentalist, by its nature, is a kind of work that calls for the highest form of ethical conduct or ethical leadership and integrity. I think as part of the core values of EEA, as we will be trying to drive this entity to the level you expect of us, the country expect of us, we want to assure you, Chair, and assure our partners that it's the number one thing that we are going to put as central in terms of our work as the authority.
I do assure the Honourable Minister and the Management Board and the Executive Director that I will support them and work hard in driving the strategic objectives of the EEA to mobilize resources in order to reduce the heavy reliance on government subvention, as the chairman has said, and also to be a model for organizational effectiveness and efficiencies, and to improve accountability, transparency, and performance.
For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Kuno Madonsela with Zandi Lempapane and Gary Carlos Mbabane.
A land dispute in Kwaluseni between two families continues to boil over to this day. We have a report.
The land dispute at Kwaluseni, which is said to be owned by Prince Ngaba. Procedures were done and it was confirmed that no construction should take place in that land. There are new developments that some people are claiming to own that land. We spoke to Mr. Melelo Hlabati, the community representative, who stated that this matter is taken to the Swazi court.
Hey, nami ngiyamangala ukuthi sebobani labakhala. Njoba ngibakhutile nje laba ngibatholile lokuthi bakamotha.
Bathini kuwe baba?
Bathi indzawo yabo.
Njani?
Abachazi ke lokuthi njani. Ngoba nabasho bathi lelikhalela la kaMphaphi lemukelwa ngibona abasuka euniversity uma batisho bona.
Engabe sevu ngasibese bakubophile kona kwendeke na uchaze nje baba.
Mina sengiboshwa ngifaka uthe ukuthi bafake lo lidradi laba bakamotha. faka ukuthi ngibophela ukuthi mina ngivumelela ababakaMotha noma ke ngibayekele bafaka iDRAT kana kusinjani ngefe ngabakhuta ngabamisa laba bakaMotha ngaze ngabahlawulisa ukuthi abahlawule laba kwendaba ngoba futhi bangichazele bona ngiyasibona lesakhiwo lesicala lesabhidlile kodwa bafanele ke bese bayendlungulu ukuthi oh lapha kwendeka nje ndlungulu sesiyaqhubeka nganasi isigaba nasi iyati nendlungulu
usitenda
ngibona sebavala la iDRAT sengiyabavala
usitenda bazabantu
usitenda bazabantu asengibahlanganisa nalokuthi kuvakale ukuthi lenzawo yakabani njengoba nebakafaka ukuthi bathi yabo nebakaMotha bathi yabo
seva kungasilenzawo lena emntwana ngosincaba
inkosikazi vele ngitshele lokho nayo ngoba nakuwendeka benda lo iDRAT nayo seyifaka ligama ukuthi angihambe ngimise lo lokwendekako lapho nayo iyamangala inkosikazi vele yangitshela ke yona yangakubali ke lokuthi kunebakaMotha kunebakafaka ukuthi vele yathi nje indzawo yemntwana inkosi yonke le
bosobatshelile laba bakaMotha nebakafaka ukuthi kusinzawo yemntwana inkosi le njengeba bemgijini
bengisengakabatsheli kwanyalo kepha le wakaMotha sengimtshelile ngoba bengifuna lokuthi ngibahlanganise batoyiva lenzaba ukuthi ihamba njani
cha siyabona
ithini inkosikazi ngoba nami bekungiloko ukuthi le ndaba zabantu ufune ngimixe info lese ivakala ukuthi lo yamhlaba wabani
cha siyabona baba
Reporting for Channel Yemaswati, I am Nondobeko Tabete with Justice Lamini and Nonhlanhla Twala at Kuala.
The ESWATINI Standards Authority has received accreditation from sectors to provide businesses in the kingdom with ISO 9001 accreditation. We have a report.
The ESWATINI Standards Authority, body responsible for maintaining high business standards in the Kingdom of Eswatini, has once again been permitted to issue business licenses to businesses in the kingdom. This after a period where doing so was difficult. This permission was given by SADCUS, body in the SADC region responsible for giving out such accreditation.
Kasha accreditation body noma ke certification body lebuya ngaphandle kwelizwe ngoba eswasa bekede le accreditation ukuthi angakunika le certificate. Kunenhlangano kwe yakaSADC lesibita ngokuthi SADCUS lekungiyona ihlola la standards authority ukuthi sebalungeleni ukuthi angayenta le certification bese ke baba accredit sitawubika ke siveni ukuthi swasa abesebenda emva kubathunywa litiko ngo2001 ukuthi abakulungise lo wasebenza ke kakhulu iboard ibambisene nemanagement leholwa CEO babe Mavela Villa.
For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Tina Madonsela with Linda Shongwe and Gary Carlos Mbabane. The Minister
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has made available loans of up to 5,000 for Ben & Pig vendors who lost all their wares in a fire at the Manzini bus rank. We have a report.
The Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mangoba Kumalo, announces that the government is offering soft loans to Ben & Pig vendors whose storage facility was burnt down in Manzini. The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade met with the executive of the Ben & Pig Committee to discuss ways in which their businesses can restart after the unfortunate incidents of fire that destroyed their wares at the Manzini storage facility.
Sikholela ke ukuthi kutawubasita kakhulu lokho kuze ukuthi baqhubeke basebente lo msebenzi wabo bangakhanywa mhlawumbe kule mali labayibhadalako ngenyanga. Ne interest yakhona ke itawa 0.5%. Lokusho ukuthi cishe yaba ne interest free loan.
Various options were explored, and the immediate intervention agreed on was to provide business loans of up to 5,000 under the Informal Traders Revolving Fund administered by FinCorp on behalf of the government. The business loan will be repayable over a 12-month period at an interest rate of 0.5%.
Uma ngabe le loan lo apply lo sashelo so tawukhanda ukuthi makayihlanganisa nalena la vele ayibhadala seyame khama lokho sidabobuka on a case by case basis.
Bonga kakhulu kuhulumende ikakhulu Ministry of Commerce ukuthi iphethe basomabhizinisi labancane ngashaya licingo ngikhala direct ebusuku makusha kepha namhla ngiyajabula ngiyahleka siyabonga kakhulu nemaphephandzaba bakhiphe kahle basho ukuthi bomake bahlubetekile lo mkhuluma nje ngiyacabanga masibisele report emuva nemaphaphatha okwehla minister bese sishaya stroke khona nje lojekile lokabi.
For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Tina Madonsela with Linda Shongwe and Gary Carlos Mbabane.
The Nati Kirch Foundation has donated food parcels to workers who were retrenched during the COVID-19 pandemic. We have a report.
The Nati Kirch Foundation continues to show its generous side by donating to the needy in ESWATINI. This was evident today at ESWATINI, where the foundation donated food parcels to people, especially those who lost their jobs during the COVID-19 era at different hotels around ESWATINI. Speaking during an interview with our reporters, the representative from the foundation stated that the donation process will come to an end in November, unfortunately, and further encouraged other organizations to follow suit and donate, especially to the need.
So this community is the golf caddies from the Royal Swazi. The funding for the contributions is coming from the Kirch Foundation ESWATINI, which is Mr. Nati Kirch. The family started here in Swaziland, and due to the COVID-19 and all the setbacks of the pandemic and then the hotels having closed, the Kirch Foundation has very graciously been contributing to these 79 caddies every month.
Invunampambata Nebembe of Lobamba mentioned that they are very grateful to the Nati Kirch Foundation for all the support that they have shown, especially to workers who lost their jobs, and further mentioned that the government should speed up the process to make sure that the hotels are reopened so that people can go back to their jobs.
Kirch Foundation it's not only laboke kunesebenza ngekhathe hotel lesafadisha ngonya ihamba kancane le process ekuthengwe lelo hotel ukuze abantu babuyele bathole imisebenzi yabo back. So siyakhombela kakhulu emajajini nelive akasibukele ukuthi gijinyiswe letinkulumo letikhona ligijima ngoba abantu babulawa indlala ngaphandle imisebenzi kude. So these are part of labantu laba laba basebenza be-Royal Swaziland, but there are so many banenge baleke bo 300 sebabonga bakunama wetreach nalaba phekayo ngegabatabo laba sisingala bayise golf course, but ngegabatabo banenge labantu. So singacela lokuthi sicela uhulumende especially majaji I process ibe faster.
I am Zandile Mpapane for Channel Yemaswati News with Gary Carlos ESWATINI.
With that, we've come to the end of our news bulletin, but before we close off, here's a recap of our top stories making headlines. The Right Honourable Prime Minister, His Excellency Cleopas Dlamini, returns to the kingdom from Angola and Kenya. Singapore-based company Lush Hair will begin operations in the kingdom in October. A land dispute in Kwaluseni continues to rage on to this day. Well, with that, we've come to the end of our news bulletin. We do hope you enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good night.